It's much different from the other lenses. It looks so cinematic, don't you think? Hey, you've just bought or you're planning on buying a Canon EOS R, but your budget is very limited and you need also one lens for your YouTube videos, for your presentations or interview shots for interviews. Well then, stay tuned because we're going to talk about it after the intro. What's up guys, Dan Forlani here and welcome back to a new video. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing. If not, just hit the like button, smash it right now. What are we talking about today? We're talking about very affordable lenses. Actually, they're the cheapest Canon lenses that you can use on the Canon EOS R to make your YouTube videos and interview shots, like to frame yourself like this, for example. I'm using the 35mm, the RF 35mm f1.8. I like the way it looks for my videos, and it's also a macro lens, and its aperture of f1.8 is just awesome because look, the background when open wide gets blurred. It's almost never good when your background is in focus. If you forget to clean up and it's a mess behind you, if the background is blurred, well, people are not gonna notice, not much. But that's not the reason why I want a blurry background in my videos. But this lens used to be the cheapest RF lens. Its price is about like 500 bucks. Now there is another one that's the new cheapest RF lens, and that's the 50mm f1.8. The nifty 50 for the Canon EOS R. Now I'm gonna give you a few more options. So this is the first option if you can, if it's within your budget, if you like the way it looks, this is it. The RF 35mm f1.8. If you want to spend less, well, I suggest you get the EF 24mm f2.8, the pancake lens. To use it with the Canon EOS R, you need an adapter, and it usually comes with the camera, I think, or if you need to buy it, it's around 100 bucks, something like that. But with this adapter, you can use on your EOS R all EF and EFS lenses. So you can mount the pancake lens on the adapter. Well, I'm gonna do it right now, and let's see what it looks like. And this is it. The EFS 24mm f2.8, the pancake lens. As you can see, you can achieve a pretty similar shot to the RF 35mm f1.8. Just it's a little bit tighter and the background is not as blurry as it was before, like with the 35mm f1.8. It's because of the aperture and because of the compression of the 35mm compared to the 24mm. I've used this lens for my YouTube videos a lot, especially on the 90D. So there's to say that when you use an EFS lens on the Canon EOS R with the adapter, the camera will know that this lens is for crop sensor cameras, and what you get is the same result, same field of view, just like if the Canon EOS R was a crop sensor camera with a 1.6 crop. So the 24mm becomes like a 38-ish. That's why, in spite of being a 24mm, it doesn't look any wider than the 35mm for full frame. Being meant to be used on crop sensor cameras, the field of view is not wider, it's tighter. Keep that in mind. But this is the result you get for your presentations, YouTube videos, and interview shots. Of course, this lens is good for many other things, like street photography, not portraits, not much at least, because the 24mm distorts quite a bit. Not much, but enough to change the feature of a person if you shoot a close-up. Let me know what you think about this lens. Leave a comment down below, and since you're there, hit the like button and subscribe if you ain't already. And check the links in the description to see all my gear. If you would like a different look, something more particular, a different effect, something more, well, I'm just gonna show you this Here is the Canon EF 10 to 18 millimeters f4.5 to f5.6. What does it mean? A 10 to 18 millimeters that corresponds on a crop sensor camera to a 16 to 30 something. So it's not gonna be too wide. You won't get a shallow depth of field with this because it's a wide lens anyway. And its aperture at f4.5, it's definitely gonna be very, very difficult to get a shallow depth of field, like the blurry background. But if that's not what you're after, you want a kind of like Casey Neistat look. Casey Neistat was the one who made this lens popular. If you're from another planet and you don't know, Casey Neistat is the king of bloggers. And he used this lens a lot in the past. I'll just pop it in and let's see what it looks like. So this is the Canon EF 10 to 18 millimeters f4.5. I think it's a little too wide or it's too far away. Let me frame myself decently for this. So I put the camera closer to me and look how wide it is at 10 millimeters, which corresponds to 16 on a crop sensor camera. And this is the way it looks on the Canon EOS R with the adapter. It's very wide and the background is not blurred because the aperture is f4.5, and I actually had to increase the level of my light here because f4.5 is pretty dark. Let me know what you think about it. Is this the kind of look you're trying to achieve, or you prefer the 24 millimeters, or still the 35, the RF, you think is the way to go? Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. As I said, when you zoom in, the aperture changes. It becomes immediately f5 and a little bit more. At the end, f5.6 at 18 millimeters. I think here at around 15 or something is a sweet spot. Be careful with this lens. Make sure you frame yourself or your subject in the middle of the frame because it tends to distort quite a bit. So I think I haven't mentioned that the pancake lens, the 24 millimeters f2.8, cost around 150 bucks. So we have the 35 millimeters, 500 bucks, the EF 24 millimeters pancake lens f2.8, 150 bucks, and we have this, the EF 10 to 18 millimeters f4 f5.6. And its price is like $250. By the way, check the links in the description to see the price and availability of these lenses on Amazon. And this is the Canon EF 50mm f1.8, the Nifty 50. As you can see, it's a little bit different. It's much different from the other lenses, like the 10 to 18 millimeters, so wide, but with basically no shallow depth of field. The 24 millimeters, the pancake lens, f2.8 with some blur a little bit in the background, not much, and this Nifty 50. And the camera, when I use the 10 to 18 millimeters, I put it much closer to me because it's really wide. But now that I'm using the EOS R with the Nifty 50, I put the camera back where it was when I was using the 24 millimeters and the 35 millimeters. And this is what it looks like. I would say it's a little bit tight, but actually not. It's just tighter than the 24 millimeters that corresponds to 38-ish, or the 35 millimeters, but for your YouTube videos, it's definitely usable for like interview shots. I think it's perfect. I mean, more for interviews and B-rolls, because I think that if you make a video frame like this for like 8 or 10 minutes, it might get a little bit boring, just with a big face there in the middle, but still, it looks so good. It looks so cinematic, don't you think? It's an EF lens Therefore, when you use it with the adapter on the Canon EOS R, you don't lose any functionality of the lens. So you can shoot 60 and or 120 frames per second if you want to. Now, let's go back to the 35 millimeters and let's wrap it up. Alright, so what do you think about it? Leave a comment down below and hit the like button, subscribe if you ain't already, and check the links in the description to see all my gear and stuff. Which one should you buy? Well, it depends on your personal preferences. If you want a more like Casey Neistat look, you can go for the 10 to 18 millimeters. If you want a framing similar to this, a more traditional look, you can get the pancake lens. If you like the kind of shot, very cinematic for your talking head videos or interviews, well, the nifty 50 is the way to go. Besides, keep in mind that even if you buy these lenses, one of these lenses or all of them, just for interview shots, your presentations, I promise you'll be using them for much more than that, because they're awesome. You just have some limitations for what concerns EFS lenses, because EF lenses, when you attach them to the adapter and you attach it to the camera, they work 100% fine, just like native lenses. But EFS lenses work perfectly, but you lose the ability to do slow motion, because for some reasons, when you put an EFS lens on the adapter and on the Canon EOS R, you cannot select 60 or 120 frames per second. Don't ask me why, have no idea. I only know that you can't. So keep that in mind. But as I said, if you just need one lens for your YouTube videos or interview shots, any of those will be good. Just the nifty 50, I mean, even though you'll be using it a lot, I'm sure, that's my first recommendation when it comes to lenses. When someone asks me which lens should I buy after the kit lens, I just say get the nifty 50, unless you're a blogger, but still you can use it for B-rolls. So you can do a lot with it and it looks so cinematic, just awesome. Its aperture 1.8 is just great. So in the end, which one should you buy? Well, it depends on your personal preferences. If you have watched entirely this video, by now you have an idea of what you can get from these lenses when it comes to interview shots or presentation videos. So I would like to hear from you. Leave a comment down below, let me know what you think about it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe if you ain't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.